In the vast emptiness of space, a grand meeting was taking place. The Galar Federation, a group of different alien species, had come together. They were meeting on their biggest and most impressive spaceship. This ship was as big as a large city and shone like a star in the darkness of space. Inside the ship, in a huge room with high ceilings, sat the leaders of the Galar Federation. They were from many different planets and looked very different from each other. Some had scales, others had fur. Some had many eyes, others had none. But they all shared one thing. They thought they were the most powerful beings in the galaxy. At the head of the long table sat Admiral Tawan. He was tall and thin, with blue skin that seemed to shimmer. His eyes were large and completely black, and he had long fingers with an extra joint. Tawan was in charge of all the Galar ships, and he was proud of it. "Friends," Tawan said, his voice deep and smooth, "we have ruled the stars for 1,000 years. Our ships are the fastest. Our weapons are the strongest. No one can beat us." The other aliens nodded and made sounds of agreement. They were very pleased with themselves. Tawan continued, "But we have found something new. A planet we didn't know about before. It's in a far corner of the galaxy, and it has life on it." This news made all the aliens sit up straight. Finding new life was always exciting. "Show us," said one of the aliens, a round creature covered in soft spines. Tawan pressed a button, and a big screen appeared in the air above the table. On it, they could see a blue and green planet with white clouds swirling over it. "It's called Earth," Tawan explained, "and the creatures living there call themselves humans." The screen changed to show pictures of Earth cities, cars, and people going about their daily lives. The aliens watched with interest, but also with a bit of disappointment. These humans didn't look very special or strong. "They seem simple," said another alien, this one looking like a large talking plant. "Their buildings are small. Their vehicles move so slowly, and they haven't even left their own planet yet." Tawan nodded. "Yes, they are far behind us. They don't know about the rest of the galaxy. They don't even know we exist." The aliens all started talking at once. They were excited about finding a new planet, but they didn't think the humans were very important. "Quiet, please," Tawan said, holding up his hand. When everyone was silent, he continued, "I think we should visit this planet Earth. We should show ourselves to these humans." This idea made all the aliens very excited. They loved showing off how strong and advanced they were. "Yes," shouted one alien. "Let's show them our big ships and our powerful weapons," said another. "We can teach them so much," added a third. Tawan smiled, but his smile wasn't friendly. It was the smile of someone who thinks they're better than everyone else. "Yes, we will teach them. We will show them that we are the rulers of the galaxy. And then we will make their planet part of our federation." The other aliens cheered. They liked the idea of having a new planet to control. But Tawan said, holding up his hand again, "We must be careful. Sometimes simple creatures can surprise you. We will send a small group first to watch the humans closely. Then, when we know more about them, we will show ourselves." The aliens all agreed this was a good plan. They were sure that once the humans saw how powerful the Galar Federation was, they would quickly agree to join them. As the meeting ended, the aliens left the room feeling very happy and proud. They were going to meet a new species, and they were sure it would be easy to impress them. But Tawan stayed behind, looking at the picture of Earth on the big screen. Something about this planet made him feel strange. He couldn't explain why, but he had a feeling that these humans might not be as simple as they looked. "We'll see," he said to himself, his black eyes reflecting the blue and green of Earth. "We'll see what these humans are really like." With that, he turned off the screen and left the room. Soon, the Galar Federation would meet humanity, and nothing in the galaxy would ever be the same again. The small Galar ship moved quietly through space. It was flying towards Earth, but it was hard to see. The ship had special technology that made it almost invisible. Inside the ship, 3 aliens were looking at screens. They were watching Earth very closely. These aliens had been chosen by Admiral Tawan to study the humans. The leader of this small group was named Q. He was short and round, with green skin and 4 arms. His big eyes could see things that were very far away. "Look at this," Q said to the others. He pointed at one of the screens. It showed a big city on Earth. Cars were moving on the roads, and people were walking on the sidewalks. "They move so slowly," said Mina, another alien. She was tall and thin, with purple fur all over her body, and their machines are so simple. The third alien, Jun, nodded. He looked like a large insect, with a hard shell and long antennae. "Their buildings are not very tall," he said, "and they don't have any ships in space." Q agreed with both of them. "You're right," he said. "These humans seem very simple. They don't know anything about the rest of the galaxy." The 3 aliens watched Earth for many days. They saw how humans lived, how they worked, and how they played. They listened to human music and watched human movies. They even learned some human languages. But the more they watched, the more confused they became. "I don't understand," Mina said one day. "These humans fight with each other all the time. They have many different countries, and these countries often don't like each other." Jun clicked his antennae, which was how he showed he was thinking. "Yes," he said, "and they use so much energy. They burn things to make power, which is very old-fashioned." Q was quiet for a long time. Then he said, "But look at how fast they learn. In just 100 years, they went from riding horses to flying in the sky." The other 2 aliens looked at Q in surprise. "Are you saying these humans might be dangerous?" Mina asked. Q shook his head. "No, not dangerous, but interesting. I think we should be careful when we meet them." Just then, a light started flashing on their ship. It was a message from Admiral Tawan. "What have you learned?" Tawan's voice came through the speaker. Q told Tawan everything they had seen. He talked about how the humans seemed simple, but also how they learned quickly. Tawan listened to everything. When Q was finished, Tawan was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "I see. Well, I think it's time we introduced ourselves to these humans." "Are you sure?" Q asked. "Maybe we should watch them for a little longer." But Tawan had made up his mind. "No," he said, "we are the Galactic Federation. We are the most powerful force in the galaxy. These humans should feel honored that we want to meet them." Q, Mina, and Jun looked at each other. They weren't sure this was a good idea, but they couldn't argue with Admiral Tawan. "Very well," Tawan said. "I will bring the fleet to Earth. We will show these humans our power and invite them to join our federation." After Tawan ended the call, the 3 aliens were very quiet. "What do you think will happen?" Mina asked. Jun's antennae twitched. "I don't know," he said, "but I think the humans might surprise us." Q nodded slowly. "Yes," he said, "I think you're right. These humans, there's something special about them. I can feel it." As they talked, their ship continued to orbit Earth. Down below, the humans went about their lives, not knowing that very soon, everything would change. In the darkness of space, far away from Earth, a large group of ships started to move. The Galaxar fleet was coming. Soon, humans would see aliens for the first time. But the aliens didn't know that humans had a few surprises waiting for them. The first meeting between humans and aliens was about to happen, and it would not go the way anyone expected. While the aliens were watching Earth, the humans were not sitting still. They knew something was coming. In a big, secret room deep under a mountain, important people from all over Earth were meeting. There were leaders from many countries, top scientists, and the best military minds. They all looked worried. At the front of the room stood General Sujin. She was tall and strong, with short black hair and sharp eyes. She pointed to a big screen on the wall. "Look at this," she said. The screen showed a blurry image of something in space. "Our best telescopes took this picture last week. It's a spaceship, and it's not from Earth." The room got very quiet. Everyone knew what this meant. Aliens were real, and they were coming to Earth. "What do we do?" asked one of the world leaders. "We're not ready for this." Su Jin smiled. It wasn't a happy smile, but a determined one. "That's where you're wrong," she said. "We've been getting ready for this for a long time." She pressed a button, and the screen changed. Now it showed a huge spaceship. It was long and sleek, with big engines at the back and many weapons along its sides. On its side, in big letters, was the name HMS Thunderbolt. "This," Su Jin said, "is humanity's first battleship. We built it in secret, using technology we've been developing for years." Everyone in the room was surprised. They didn't know Earth had a spaceship like this. "But how?" asked a scientist. "We don't have the technology for this." Su Jin nodded. "You're right, we didn't. But 50 years ago, a small alien ship crashed on Earth. We kept it secret and studied it. Everything we learned, we used to build the Thunderbolt." The room was full of excited whispers now. People were starting to feel hopeful. "Who's in charge of this ship?" someone asked. Su Jin pressed another button. The screen showed a picture of a woman with long dark hair and serious eyes. "This is Captain Ji-Soo," Su Jin said. "She's the best pilot and strategist we have. She's been training for this mission her whole life." Just then, a loud alarm started ringing. Red lights flashed around the room. "What's happening?" people shouted. Su Jin looked at her computer. Her face got very serious. "The alien fleet has entered our solar system," she said. "They'll reach Earth in 3 days." Everyone started talking at once. Some people were scared, others were angry. But Su Jin held up her hand, and they all got quiet. "This is what we've been preparing for," she said. "We need to work together. All countries, all people. This isn't about one nation anymore. This is about all of humanity." The world leaders looked at each other. For a moment, all their old arguments seemed small and silly. "What do you need us to do?" one of them asked. Su Jin smiled. This time, it was a real smile. "First, we need to launch the Thunderbolt. Then, we need to get ready for whatever happens next." As the meeting continued, far above the Earth, Captain Jisoo was getting ready. She stood on the bridge of the HMS Thunderbolt, looking out at the stars. "Captain," said one of her crew, "we've received the launch order." Jisoo nodded. She felt calm, even though she knew how important this was. "All right," she said. "Let's show these aliens what humans can do." The huge engines of the Thunderbolt came to life. Slowly, the massive ship lifted off from its secret base on the far side of the moon. As the Thunderbolt moved into space, Jisoo thought about the aliens coming towards Earth. They probably thought humans would be easy to defeat. They were in for a big surprise. "Ready all systems," Jisoo ordered. "We're going to meet our visitors." The Thunderbolt accelerated, moving faster and faster. Earth's first battleship was on its way to face the alien fleet. The fate of humanity was about to be decided. The Galaxar fleet moved through space towards Earth. There were hundreds of ships, big and small. They shone like stars in the darkness. At the front was the biggest ship of all, where Admiral Ta-Won stood looking out at space. "We're almost there," said one of the alien crew members. "We'll reach Earth in 1 hour." Ta-Won nodded. He felt very proud and sure of himself. "Good," he said. "Get ready to show these humans our power. They'll be so surprised to see us." But Ta-Won didn't know that the humans were already watching him. Far away, hiding behind an asteroid, was a small human ship. It was a scout ship from the HMS Thunderbolt. Inside, 2 human pilots were looking at the alien fleet through special cameras. "Wow," said the first pilot, a young man named Jun-ho. "Look at all those ships. There are so many of them." The second pilot, an older woman named Unji, nodded. She looked worried. "We need to tell Captain Jisoo right away," she said. Jun-ho pressed some buttons on the control panel. Soon, Captain Jisoo's face appeared on a screen in front of them. "Report," Jisoo said. She looked calm, but her eyes were serious. "Captain," Yoonji said, "we've found the alien fleet. There are hundreds of ships. They'll reach Earth in about an hour." Jisoo thought for a moment. Then she said, "Good work. Come back to the Thunderbolt now. We need to get ready." As the scout ship turned to go back, something happened. One of the alien ships spotted them. "Oh no," Jun-ho shouted. "They've seen us." On the big alien ship, Admiral Ta-won was surprised. "What's this?" he said. "A human ship. How did they get out here?" The alien ship started to chase the small human scout ship. Jun-ho and Yoonji were scared, but they were also very good pilots. They flew their ship fast, twisting and turning to avoid the alien ship. "We can't lead them back to the Thunderbolt," Yoonji said. "We need to lose them." Jun-ho nodded. He saw a field of asteroids nearby. "I have an idea," he said. "Hold on tight." He flew the scout ship into the asteroid field. The alien ship followed them. It was bigger and stronger, but that made it harder to move between the asteroids. Jun-ho flew their small ship around the big space rocks. He was careful and skilled. The alien ship tried to keep up, but it was too big. It hit one of the asteroids and had to stop chasing them. "We did it," Jun-ho shouted. He and Yoonji were very happy. But their happiness didn't last long. When they got out of the asteroid field, they saw something that made them very afraid. The whole alien fleet was coming towards them. "There's no way we can outrun all of them," Yoonji said. She sounded sad. Jun-ho looked at her. "Then we won't run," he said. "We'll fight." He pressed a button to call Captain Jisoo again. "Captain," he said, "the aliens have seen us. We can't escape. What should we do?" On the screen, they saw Jisoo smile. It was a smile that said she had a plan. "Don't worry," she said. "Help is on the way. Just hold on for 2 more minutes." Jun-ho and Yoonji looked at each other. They didn't know what Jisoo meant, but they trusted her. The alien ships got closer and closer. They were about to catch the small human ship. Then, suddenly, something amazing happened. A bright light appeared in space. It got bigger and bigger. The aliens had never seen anything like it. From the light came a huge ship. It was long and powerful looking. On its side, in big letters, was the name HMS Thunderbolt. The aliens were shocked. They had never imagined that humans could build a ship like this. On his big ship, Admiral Ta-won couldn't believe his eyes. "What is that?" he shouted. "How did the humans build such a big ship?" As the Thunderbolt moved between the alien fleet and the small scout ship, Captain Jisoo's voice came through all the speakers. She spoke to both the humans and the aliens. "This is Captain Jisoo of the HMS Thunderbolt," she said. "We come in peace, but we are ready to defend ourselves." "Admiral Ta-won, let's talk." The first meeting between humans and aliens was about to begin, and it was nothing like what the aliens had expected. Admiral Ta-won couldn't believe his eyes. The human ship, HMS Thunderbolt, was huge. It was almost as big as his own ship. This was not what he expected at all. "How is this possible?" he asked, his voice shaking a little. "These humans are supposed to be simple." Around him, the other aliens on the ship were also scared. They had thought this would be easy. Now, they weren't so sure. Tae-won tried to stay calm. He pressed a button to talk to Captain Jisoo. "This is Admiral Ta-won of the Galar Federation," he said. "We came to welcome you to the galactic community." On the Thunderbolt, Captain Jisoo listened to Ta-won's words. She didn't believe him. "Admiral," she said, "we know you've been watching us. We know you thought we would be easy to control. But we are not simple, and we are not weak." Tae-won was surprised. How did the humans know all this? He started to feel worried. Meanwhile, on the other alien ships, panic was starting to spread. Many of the aliens had never seen a ship as big as the Thunderbolt before. They didn't know what to do. "Look at the size of that thing," one alien captain shouted. "It's got weapons all over it." Another alien ship tried to scan the Thunderbolt, but they couldn't see inside it. "Our scanners don't work," the alien in charge of the scanner said. "They have some kind of shield we can't see through." The alien ships started to move around in a messy way. Some went forward, some went back. They were confused and scared. Back on his ship, Admiral Ta-1 was trying to think of what to do. He had planned to show the humans how strong the aliens were, but now it seemed like the humans were stronger than he thought. "We should attack now," said one of Ta-1's officers, "before they can do anything." But Ta-1 shook his head. "No," he said, "we don't know what that ship can do. We need to be careful." While the aliens were panicking, Captain Jisoo and her crew on the Thunderbolt were calm. They had trained for this for a long time. "Keep our shields up," Jisoo told her crew, "and be ready for anything." Jisoo looked at the screens showing the alien ships. She could see they were scared and confused. This was good. A scared enemy often made mistakes. "Captain," said one of Jisoo's officers, "some of the alien ships are pointing their weapons at us." Jisoo nodded. "I see that," she said, "but they won't fire. They're too afraid." She was right. The aliens were scared to attack. They didn't know what the Thunderbolt could do. On his ship, Admiral Ta-1 was getting more and more worried. His plan was falling apart. The humans were not acting the way he thought they would. "Admiral," one of his officers said, "what should we do? The fleet is waiting for orders." Ta-1 looked out at space. He could see his ships moving around in a messy way. He could see the big human ship sitting there calmly. For the first time in his life, Ta-1 felt real fear. I don't know," he said quietly. His officers were shocked. They had never heard their admiral say he didn't know what to do. The panic spread even more. Some of the alien ships started to turn away from Earth. They'd wanted to run away. "No," Ta-1 shouted. "Don't run. We are the Galactic Federation. We are strong." But his words didn't help. More and more ships were turning away. On the Thunderbolt, Captain Jisoo watched all this happen. She knew that the aliens were close to running away. But she also knew that scared animals could be dangerous. "Be ready," she told her crew. "They might do something stupid." As if to prove her right, one of the alien ships suddenly fired its weapons. The shot missed the Thunderbolt, but it was close. "That's it," Jisoo said. Her voice was calm, but her eyes were hard. Shields to full power, weapons ready. The Thunderbolt's engines glowed brighter. Its weapons came to life. The real battle was about to begin. The space around Earth was quiet for a moment. The alien ships and the HMS Thunderbolt faced each other. It was like the calm before a storm. Then, suddenly, everything changed. One of the alien ships fired again. This time, the shot hit the Thunderbolt. But nothing happened. The human ship's shields were too strong. Captain Jisoo's voice came over the speakers. It was calm but firm. "This is your last warning," she said. "Leave now, or we will defend ourselves." Admiral Ta-1 was scared, but he was also angry. How dare these humans talk to him like that? "Attack," he shouted to his fleet. "Show them our power." All at once, hundreds of alien ships started firing at the Thunderbolt. The space around the human ship lit up with explosions. It looked like the Thunderbolt would be destroyed. But when the explosions cleared, the human ship was still there. Its shields glowed brightly, but they held. On the bridge of the Thunderbolt, Captain Jisoo nodded to her weapons officer. "It's time," she said. "Show them what we can do." The Thunderbolt's weapons came to life. Beams of light shot out from the ship. Each beam hit an alien ship. One by one, the alien ships lost power, and started drifting in space. Admiral Ta-1 couldn't believe what he was seeing. "How?" he shouted. "How are they so strong?" The human weapons were like nothing the aliens had ever seen. They didn't destroy the alien ships, but they made them stop working. "Keep firing," Ta-1 ordered, but it was no use. The thunderbolt was too fast and too strong. Captain Jisoo watched the battle carefully. She didn't want to hurt the aliens, just stop them. "Target their engines and weapons," she told her crew. "Don't hit their life support systems." The thunderbolt moved through the alien fleet like a hot knife through butter. It disabled ship after ship. Some of the alien ships tried to run away, but the thunderbolt caught them easily. On his ship, Admiral Ta-1 was panicking. Nothing was going as he had planned. "Send a message to our home world," he shouted. "Tell them we need help." But before the message could be sent, the thunderbolt appeared right in front of Ta-1's ship. It was so close that Ta-1 could see it clearly through the window of his bridge. Captain Jisoo's face appeared on Ta-1's screen. "Admiral," she said, "this battle is over. Surrender now." Ta-1 looked around his ship. Many things were broken. His crew looked scared and tired. He knew he had lost. I surrender," he said quietly. With those words, the battle ended. The great Galaxar fleet had been defeated by a single human ship. As the Thunderbolt's crew cheered, Captain Jisoo stayed calm. "Good work, everyone," she said. "But we're not done yet. Start helping the damaged alien ships." The Thunderbolt began to move among the alien fleet, helping ships that were drifting or had lost power. The aliens were surprised. They had tried to attack the humans, but now the humans were helping them. On Earth, people watched the battle on their screens. At first, they had been scared. But as they saw the Thunderbolt win, they began to cheer and celebrate. In the secret room under the mountain, General Sujin smiled. "It worked," she said to the world leaders. "Our plan worked. We've shown the aliens that we're strong, but also that we're kind." The world leaders nodded. They were proud of what humans had done today. Back in space, Captain Jisoo looked out at the stars. She knew that this was just the beginning. Humans had shown they could stand up to the strongest aliens in the galaxy. Now, a new chapter in human history was starting. "Send a message to Earth," she told her communications officer. Tell them the skies are safe, and we're coming home." As the Thunderbolt turned back towards Earth, with the defeated alien fleet following, everyone knew that nothing would ever be the same again. Humans had taken their first big step into the galaxy. A week had passed since the great battle in space. On Earth, things were very different now. In New York, a big meeting was taking place. Leaders from all over Earth sat at a round table. With them were some aliens, including Admiral Ta-1. They all looked serious. General Sujin stood up to speak. "Today," she said, "we start a new chapter in the story of our galaxy. Humans and aliens will work together from now on." Admiral Ta-1 nodded slowly. He still couldn't believe how things had changed. "The Galaxar Federation agrees," he said. "We were wrong about humans. You are strong and smart. We want to learn from you." Meanwhile, in space, the HMS Thunderbolt was getting ready for a new mission. Captain Jisoo walked onto the bridge. Her crew stood up to greet her. "At ease," Jisoo said with a smile. "We have a new job. We're going to visit the Galaxar homeworld. We'll be the first humans to go so far into space." The crew looked excited. They had shown they could beat the aliens. Now they would show they could be friends too. Back on Earth, scientists were busy studying the alien ships. They learned many new things about space travel and energy. "Look at this," one scientist said to another. He pointed at a strange engine part. "If we can understand how this works, we could travel faster than light." All over the world, people's lives were changing. Children in schools learned about alien cultures. Factories started making new things using alien ideas. It was an exciting time for everyone. But not all the aliens were happy. Some were angry that humans had beaten them. They didn't want to be friends. On a faraway planet, a group of these angry aliens met in secret. "We must take revenge," one of them said. "Humans are dangerous. We should destroy them before they become too strong." The others nodded. They began to make plans. They didn't know that humans were ready for them. On Earth, General Su-Jin was in a meeting with world leaders. "We must be careful," she said. "Most aliens want to be our friends, but some might still try to hurt us. We need to be ready." The leaders agreed. They decided to build more ships like the Thunderbolt. They also started training more people to be space pilots and soldiers. In a lab far under the ground, a team of human and alien scientists worked together. They were trying to make new weapons and shields. These would help protect Earth if bad aliens attacked. "This is amazing," said Q, one of the alien scientists. He was the same one who had first watched Earth. "Humans and aliens working together. We can do so much." His human partner, a woman named Min, smiled. "Yes," she said. "Together, we're stronger than we are alone." As all this was happening, the HMS Thunderbolt flew through space. It was on its way to the Galaxar homeworld. Captain Jisoo stood on the bridge, looking out at the stars. "Captain," one of her officers said, "we're about to go faster than light for the first time." Jisoo nodded. "Do it," she said. The ship's engines glowed brightly. Then, in a flash of light, the Thunderbolt disappeared. It was traveling faster than any human had ever gone before. As the ship flew between the stars, Jisoo thought about everything that had happened. Humans had faced a great challenge. They had been brave and smart. Now, they were taking their place among the stars. "We did it," Jisoo said quietly to herself. "We showed the galaxy what humans can do." The Thunderbolt flew on, carrying the hopes and dreams of all humanity. A new age had begun. Humans were no longer alone in the universe. They were part of something much bigger. And they were ready for whatever might come next.